President Biden accuses Russian President Vladimir Putin of committing genocide in Ukraine. He made those remarks while speaking at an event in Iowa yesterday. As he headed back to Washington, he doubled down on his statement.
Yes, I called it genocide because it's become clearer and clearer that Putin is just trying to wipe out the idea of even being able to be a Ukrainian. We'll let the lawyers decide internationally whether or not it qualifies, but it sure seems that way to me.
So we want to bring in Oleksandra Matviychuk, who is in Kyiv. She's a human rights lawyer and chairwoman of the Center for Civil Liberties in Ukraine. So thank you so much for joining us. So here's the thing. There is a legal definition of genocide. And I think the president was not, even the president acknowledged that that's something that needs to be investigated. But what qualifies as genocide? And, you know, is that what we are seeing happening in Ukraine? Because as I understand it, it's a little challenging to prove genocide.
Yes, genocide is the most serious international crime. That's why the standard of proof is very high. In order to prove genocide, you have to convince court that all the killings and rapes was done with a so-called genocidal intent to destroy completely or partially some concrete group. And this is very hot debate always. But when we examine Russian propaganda, we can see very clearly this genocidal intent, because Russian propaganda states that Ukraine has their own Ukrainian culture, that Russia has to destroy Ukrainian language, that Ukrainian nation has no right to exist at all. So in such way, they justify this plan of massive killing civilians.
So, Oleksandra, one more detail on how you legally define genocide. Is genocide applied to the state committing acts of genocide, in other words, the state being Vladimir Putin, or is it applied to individual soldiers who then the commanders or even the President Putin can say, well, I didn't give orders to rape, to execute civilians. I'm wondering. It's
not just civilians. It has to be a specific group that they're targeting.
Right, a specific ethnic group or a specific group of people, as I understand it.
But when we speak about genocide as a crime, this intent has to be a strategy. And the strategy couldn't be imposed with encourages and leadership of the country which provides such atrocities. Once again, it's very hard to prove the genocide because it's have a very high standards of proofs. But now we have like a question on the table. We have to start investigation, and the last words will be said by court.
All right, so Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is warning that the war is really entering a new stage of terror. That's the phrase that he used. Russian forces are preparing to refocus on the eastern region of the country. We already know what the towns and cities look like that they left behind. How concerned are you about what the eastern region, the Donbass region, the people who are left there, what they're going to have to endure?
We expected a heavy battle in the eastern south of Ukraine. And that's why now Ukrainian authorities tried to quickly as possible evacuate civilians. It's very hard to do because, you know, this incident in Kramatorsk, when Russian deliberately targeted the railway station where evacuation trains are waiting for people and 5 dozens of people were killed. Unfortunately, we saw all this time that Russia used war crime as a method of warfare. That's why, yes, we expected more harm to civilians and a new wave of war crimes to be committed.
So based on these allegations, then, Oleksandra, is there hope that the West may, you know, you've no doubt heard that people want the United States and NATO to take a bigger role in what's happening in Ukraine. And there are some who say, look, doing that might actually be a start of World War III. So what are you hearing from the people you've been speaking to?
Today, I received one testimony from my colleague who worked with people from Mariupol, and he brought interview from women who her 19 years daughter was killed by Russian soldiers on her own eyes. So when I collect such kind of stories, I have only one request to the United States of America, to Great Britain, to all Western democracies: please provide Ukraine weapons as quickly as possible, because Ukrainian people are dying. We have no time to wait. We need fighter jets, we need air defense systems, we need tanks, we need armed vehicles. We couldn't stop Putin by drones.
All right, Oleksandra, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.